All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is good to see you back. I haven't been here in a while, but I'm happy to be back with you. As you see, we have Chromebooks in front of us today. We're going to be doing a tech lesson. And this tech lesson is a little bit different than some of the other ones that we do. This tech lesson is actually going to show you how to take the online state test. Have you ever heard about that before?
Yeah.
And some of you know that in 3rd grade, this is the year where the state of California says, all right, we want our students to take a big test that shows how much they've learned in 3rd grade. You'll take that in 3rd grade, in 4th grade, in 5th grade, in 6th grade, in 7th grade, in 8th grade, and then in 11th grade. You'll take it a bunch of times. And we take it on the computer. Now, a few things about this test. We want you to take it seriously. We want you to do your best on this test. But this is not the most important test you're ever going to take in your life. We don't want you to stress out about it. We just want you to show what you know, what you've been learning in 3rd grade. This is a chance for Mrs. Slattery to see all the things that her students have been learning. It's a chance for Mrs. Blaney to see how well the 3rd grade does here at LCE. And it's a chance for your parents to see all the things that you're learning in 3rd grade too. So of course, we here at LCE, we take it seriously, but we're not going to stress out about it. So that you're ready for this test that we're going to be taking in April, we're going to have a bunch of practice opportunities in the next few months. So when you finally take the test, it won't be anything new to you. Mrs. Slattery asked me to come in today to kind of take a practice version of this test. We call it the training test. It's kind of fun, but I need everybody's eye contact. Look, it feels like a test today, but it's not really a test. You are not going to sign in, so it doesn't know who you are. If you type the right answer or the wrong answer, it doesn't matter. So my goal today is just to show you where all the buttons are on this test, so that when you take it for real in the next few weeks, you'll kind of know what you're doing. You ready?
Yeah.
Please open your Chromebooks and go to this website.
But you have to sign into your Chromebook.
You have to sign into your Chromebook first. You're right. CAASPP.org. Once you're logged in, you're going to go to the website that you see up here on screen. Okay.
Mine isn't turning on. Just give it seconds. This isn't turning on. It's not. We'll be patient.
So we're going to go to this website. That's it, yeah. CAASPP.org. I'm not going to write it on the board because it's right there nice and big on the screen. You see that?
Practice test?
Nope, just type CAASPP.org. CAASPP.org.
This way? Does it look like this?
That's it, you're right.
Like this?
CAASPP.org. 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 And I see, as I'm looking over your shoulders, I see a lot of people are seeing that screen where it's a bunch of students and they're kind of happily taking a test on screen.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're almost there. A few people are still getting logged in. Claire, do you have a question? No? Yes, question. You can't? Huh, let's take a look at that. CAASPP.org. You have 2 S's and 1 A. You have to have CAASPP.org.
Wait, do you do it?
Yeah, let me do that for you. CAASPP.org. All set. You good? All right. CAASPP.org. There. CAASPP. There you go. Wonderful. Wonderful. What's going on here, friend?
Mr. Pass, is
Yeah, click on welcome to CAASPP website. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, before we begin, have you ever noticed that, my friends, that if you have a typo, please have a seat. If you have a typo on a website, it might take you somewhere totally different. You have to be really careful when you're typing in. All right, before we begin, I just want to ask you a question. Everybody's rods and cones in their eyes are slightly different. Did you know it's the cones in your eyes that see color? And everybody's cones are slightly different. We all see color differently. What color do you think that is right there? That's purple. Now we're about to see something on our screen that's kind of hot pink. Okay, is that what you look? And that's fine, because your cones are a little bit different than ours. So that's okay, but that is, we're going to call that purple. So when we go to CAASPP.org, let's go there right now, CAASPP.org. What I would like you to do is click on this third box right there. Do you see that third box? It says practice and training tests, the one I'm pointing to right now. Please click on that. We're going to click on practice and training tests.
Here's who go to it.
Practice and training tests. Then we're going to see three boxes. We see an apple, a book, and a guy and a kid. I want you to click on the guy and the kid right there.
Random stranger.
Yeah. So everybody's going to be clicking on the man and the little boy right there, the guy and the kid. Now here's where it says sign in, but remember, we're not signing in. I just want you to, we're guests right now, so just down at the bottom, just click on that green sign in button.
Oh, select grade.
Now here is the only answer you have to get right today. What grade are you in? Do you know?
Yeah.
Zoe knows. Zoe, you're in third grade. Okay, so please select third grade.
I'm in fourth.
Do not select fourth. You're going to be taking a very different test. Now, the first test that we see, if you scroll down a little bit, these are what I call pink, and then the next ones are what I call purple. Do you see the difference? We're doing purple today, not pink. So I want you to click on this one that says, everybody look at my screen, I'll point to it. It says, start grades 3 through 5, math training test.
1 out of 99.
Please click on that one, start grades 3 through 5, math training test. Let's start with math. I'm a math geek, I love math. I want to start with that today. Third grade?
I thought you loved computers. No. Yes. What are you doing? Mina, what happened to your screen?
All right, so then it says something about settings, friends.
Yes.
We're going to just click select. We're not going to change any of our settings today. Uh-oh. I hate this part. All right, here's what we're going to do. I want everyone to press play.
Earplugs.
We're not using headphones today. When you take the real test, you will use headphones. But because we're doing a lesson about this today, no headphones. But we're all just going to have to play this audio. It's going to sound really noisy for about 15 seconds. Press play on the video once. Do not play it again. Can everybody please right now turn the volume all the way down on your Chromebook?
How do you do that?
Up in the top right corner there are the volume buttons next to power. Yeah, let's turn the volume down.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this sound again. Right now, once you've played it, can you press this green button that says I could play the video and sound? Click on that. And then click the green button below it that says continue. Then click that green button again that says begin test now. And we're about to start the test. You should see a math problem on your screen.
Oh, I'm so scared. What? I don't know this. I don't know.
Please do not start taking the test.
What? Oh, I know. This is kind of.
No, that one's broken. Those are all.
You know what? I'll grab one.
Thank you. All right. I don't want you to start the test because remember, folks, this isn't a real test today. This is training. So before we get started, before we even think about the math, I want to give you a tour of the screen. Do you see in the top left corner, we've got a back button and a next button? Do you see that? Now, every time you answer all the questions on a page, you have to click next. It doesn't do it automatically. So just get used to going to that next button right there. Do you see that save button in the top left corner? That doesn't do anything. Here's why. Because every time you click on something on your test anyway, it saves your work. So I don't know why that save button is there. It's just there to make you feel good if you really want to save your work. But don't worry because it's always saving. Do you see the pause button?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this for a second. This is serious business. This is serious business. When you are taking the test, sometimes when our brains are working really hard, sometimes we have to go to the bathroom. And that's okay. If you need to go to the bathroom during this test, you just raise your hand and you say, Mrs. Slattery, can I go to the Tinkle Dinkle room or whatever you call it? And she will say yes. What you need to do is pause your test. When you come back from the Tinkle Dinkle room, you will wave to Mrs. Slattery and you will say, I'm back. And she will unpause your test for you and then you can start doing it. Here's why. When you walk away from your test screen, I don't know if you've got a silly goose next to you who's going to start playing around on your screen while you're not there. I don't think that would happen, but just to be safe, we pause our screen and nobody can touch it, right? Question came up, is this test timed? No. Now, here's the thing. You have about, and I forget how long it is, but it's about between an hour and a half and 2 hours to take the test. After that, most kids finish in that time. If you need extra time, totally okay. Your class will move on to something else. It's usually like before break. So you just, everybody goes to break. And then afterward, you come back and you finish your test maybe in a different classroom. And that's okay. So if you need extra time, you have it. So you shouldn't feel like you have to rush through this. Most kids will finish in the time allotted though. Yeah. Good question. How many questions are there? I don't know. Probably about 30, maybe 30 per day or something like that. And again, this is testing you on third grade stuff. So you want it to, you just want to show what you know. It's not going to be super hard. Across the top, let's go over. We're going to skip line reader. I'll show you that later. Zoom in and zoom out. Everybody click the zoom in button 4 times. Zoom, 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 zoom. Whoa!
It's not working. Mine's not working.
It's not. Oh, that's strange. Maybe it will work better when you use this again. Here's the problem. It's nice and big, but now I can't see my entire question. So let's zoom out 3 times. Zoom out 3 times. What question number is this?
1.
This is question number 1, right? Follow that little blue line on question number 1 all the way over to those 3 lines on the right side. Do you see those 3 lines?
Yeah.
I call that the hamburger menu because it kind of looks like a hamburger, right? The hamburger menu has some extra tools in there that you might want to use. For example, the tutorial. Everybody click on tutorial. There will be a time, maybe, where you know the answer, but you don't really understand how it's asking you to enter the answer onto the screen. You'd be like, well, I know the answer is 7, but I don't know how I'm supposed to click. That's okay. If you open the tutorial, notice what's happening by itself. It's showing you how to answer this question. If you need help on this test, you are not allowed to raise your hand and say, teacher, what's 5 times 7? Not allowed. But you're also not allowed to ask, how do I do this question? So please make sure you know how to use the tutorial. It will show you how to enter your answer onto the screen. Okay, when you take a math test, your teacher will give you scratch paper to do all of your math on. Some of the math you can do on your head, in your head. Not on your head, that would leave a mark. Do the math in your head. But here's the thing. The first question says, which equation has the same unknown value as 30 divided by blank equals 6. Now, what should that blank be, by the way? Just call it out. 5. You're right. So I did that math in my head, but it's not asking me that. It's basically asking me, what is a similar math problem? And I will let you just call this one out. What's the correct answer?
6 times blank equals 30.
C, 6 times blank equals 30. We're going to click on that circle with C. Here's a little test-taking tip.
What is C?
Do you want to hear a test-taking tip?
Yeah.
When you see little circles, it means there's one right answer. If you see squares, it means there could be more than one right answer.
Ooh.
I'll show you what that looks like later. All right, so now we've finished all the questions on this page. How do I get to the next question?
Next.
Great. Click it.
Whoa.
What unknown number makes this equation true? 6 times 8 we know is 48. I want you to enter 48 on your screen. Please do that right now.
Do I press done? What do I press?
No, just enter it.
How do I press enter?
No, just type or somehow get 48 onto your screen is what I mean to say. There is no enter button here. How did you do it? Who in here used the keyboard keys on your Chromebook? It typed 4 and 8. Who did that? About half the class. Who in here used the on-screen keys and you clicked on 4 and you clicked on 8?
Oh, me.
Right? Both of those ways are fine. Whatever way works best for you is okay. Down here below the number 8 is a period. What do we call that in math? What is a period in math called? Yep. Point or a decimal point. Yeah. So that's how you enter a decimal point. And over here under the number 9 is box over box. Mina, you sound really excited. What's the answer? Oh, really? Mina, what's the answer?
I'm too excited that I can remember it. I know.
Okay, I'll answer you. Yep. Fraction, yeah. So let's everybody do a fraction. Please click on your fraction button right there. And in the numerator, I'm going to type 2. And in the denominator, I'm going to click there and then type 3. So my answer is 48 and 2/3. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know that this is not the correct answer to 6 times 8. But remember, the answers don't matter for this training test, for my lesson today.
Try to get it right.
No. I want you to actually learn how to type a fraction because you might have to do some of those on the test.
But before we take the test in April, will we learn, even if you already know how to do fraction, will you still get a reminder of that too?
Maybe not. So this might be the only reminder that you get. So make sure it sticks today, okay?
No, I meant how to do the fraction.
Probably not. No. The actual math problem?
I know how to do the fraction, but I meant in class they'll probably teach you fraction.
Yeah. You'll learn plenty of fractions by the time we get there. Let's go to question number 3, friends. Let's go to question number 3. Decide whether each expression or each math problem is equal to 4 times 12. Select yes or no for each expression. What is 4 times 12 in your head? Yes? 48, you're right. So what about 4 times 10 plus 2?
What?
Does that equal 4 times 12?
Yeah.
It does. So we're going to click yes.
I was confused for a second. Yeah.
What about 4 times 10 equals 40 plus 2?
No.
No. So I click there. What about 4 plus 10 times 2, which that would equal 24? That doesn't either. So notice, folks, this is a math problem, and they want you to know 4 times 12, and that's 48. But they're not asking you 48. They're asking you other math problems. It's not hard. You know the answer, but you might have to think a little bit. What if, though? What if this is one of those questions that I'm not sure? Can I give you another test-taking tip? If you find yourself thinking way too hard on a question and you're starting to get nervous, and you take 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes on one question, that's not a good way to take a test because you're just going to stress yourself out and you're not going to have time to answer all those other questions that you could be getting right. So if you ever get stuck on a question, you have to answer it, but I want to show you another tool. Please go into your hamburger menu And please click on the button that says Mark for Review. Mark for Review. But did you notice a little flag shows up next to your number 3?
Yeah.
Here's what this means.
It tells you if it's right or not.
No, it doesn't tell you if it's right or not. That would be nice if it did, right? Then you'd know, and then you wouldn't have to worry. What this does is tell you that before you turn in your test, this little flag is one that you want to come back to. Remember, my test-taking tip, don't spend so much time on one question that slows you down for the rest of the test. Put a little flag on it and come back to it later.
Do we have to put the flag?
You don't. And actually, I would say don't put a flag for every question because you won't have time to look at every single question again. Only put the flags on the ones that you're like, I'm not sure.
Well, how do you put it?
What's that? How do you put the flag there? It's the hamburger menu, Mark for Review. I'll show you what it looks like at the end before we turn the test in. Nope. All right, folks, let's go to question number 4. This is a story about my friend Caden. Now, Caden has 7 bags of animal toys. Each bag has these animal toys in it. 1 whale toy, 5 dolphin toys, 2 turtle toys, and a partridge in a pear tree. Okay, so he's got, how many? 1 plus 5 plus 2 equals what? 8. All right, so he's got 7 bags of toys, each with 8 toys in it. So here's the question that you have to answer. It says, how many animal toys does Caden have altogether? What is 7 times 8? 56. You know this in your head. But again, it's not asking you 7 times 8. It's asking you select all of the equations that show how to find the total number T of animal toys. So we need to figure this out. What are some math problems that are similar to what we have in our word problem? What about 7 times 8 equals T? Yes. Right, that's how many toys we have. So I'm going to click on there. But guess what? These are those little squares. So that means there's more than one right answer. What about 7 plus 1 plus 5 plus 2? No. What about 7 times, parentheses, 1 plus 5 plus 2? Yes. And now what about 7 plus 1 times 5 times 2? I'm seeing shaking heads. No. So those are my 2 correct answers. Hey, does everybody see the word whale right up there? Do you see that there's little dotted lines above and below it? Can you please click on the word whale?
Large water animal with flat fins. It tells you the definition.
Weird. Okay, so that's kind of cool. I accidentally clicked on dolphin. Yeah. Now, folks, listen. I know you know what a whale is, but there will be questions that have words in them that you might not be sure of. If you're not sure, see if you can click on it. It might tell you what the definition of the word is. Yeah, that would be fun. What are toys?
I don't know.
Let's go to question number 5, please. Question 5 says, part of a multiplication table is shown. What 2 numbers correctly complete the pattern in the table? Enter your answers in the table. So I'm just going to give you the answers. I just want you to see the top one is 20 and the bottom one is 25. You're right. But sometimes you'll have to enter numbers into a table. That's one of the question types. We'll see that again. Let's go to question number 6. I always like word problems. I'm always imagining what's going on here? So I always create a little story in my mind. I invited my friend Nikki over for a pizza party, and we're all having fun playing games. But Nikki is comparing fractions. She's a load of fun. And I'm like, hey, Nikki, you want a slice of pizza? And she states, 2/3 is greater than 2/4 because each 1/3 piece is larger than each 1/4 piece. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
All right, so that's what she says. So here's what we have to do in this problem. Part A and Part B. It says click on the fraction bars to show 2/3 and 2/4. It's these things right over here. Can you please click on 2/3? Can you please click on 2/4? So when Nikki said that 2/3 is bigger than 2/4, part B, is Nikki correct? Click yes or no. So click on yes. So notice though, part B has 2 parts. Another test taking tip. Always read everything on the screen because it might ask you to do more stuff. Can everybody please do me this favor? It says drag the correct symbol to compare the fractions. Please everybody click on the equal sign and drag that equal sign down in that little box between 2/3 and 2/4. We're dragging the equal sign down between the 2/3 and 2/4. Drag the equal, wait a second. Did you just drag the equal sign down there? Oh no, they're not equal. Here's what we have to do. If we ever make a mistake, we can fix it. Raise your hand if you have the equal sign there. Good, thank you for following directions. Let me show you how to delete the equal sign. Please click on the delete button at the top. Do you see the blue delete button? When you click on it, it turns silver. Then I come down here and I tap on that equal sign and watch what happens. Now I can drag the correct answer there. What is it? Greater than, less than, or equal to? Yes, Claire. Greater than. So please drag that greater than symbol down there. Nice. Let's go to question number 7. Here's another drawing question. All right, folks. Question 7. Use the add arrow tool to draw all the lines of symmetry for the shape. If there are no lines of symmetry, click none. Now, I didn't know the answer to this. You might not have learned this in math class yet, so I had to ask one of my 3rd grade friends. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the add arrow tool. Everybody please do that. It turns silver. And then I'm going to click and drag an arrow, and I'm going to drag right through the center from top to bottom of this trapezoid. That's okay. I think they're not going to be like super strict, but it's got to be really close. Mine is slightly off to the side. I see that. But guess what? I accidentally drew this other arrow, this other line, and that's totally wrong. How do I delete the line that I don't want? Yes, ma'am.
You press the delete button. And then you press what you want to delete.
And then I click on each of these red dots at each end, and now it disappears. Can everyone please draw the correct answer, draw the wrong answer, and then delete the wrong one?
I did it.
Okay.
I did something I
Okay.
Mine I deleted smaller. It's hard to drag it to smaller.
We're good?
It's hard to drag it to shit out. So in the test, it won't be like you're a centimeter off. You're a centimeter off. You got it wrong.
Well, a centimeter they might be pretty strict about. If it's a centimeter off, that's pretty far. But if it's like a few pixels away, I think they'll be okay with that. All right. Please click next. Let's go to question 8. What? There is no question 8. Notice what this says. It says you've reached the end of the test. When you have finished checking your answers, click the end test button. Now listen, I've talked to some 3rd graders and they get a little nervous. They say to me, Sir Paz, what happens if I accidentally turn in the test but I'm not done yet? You won't be allowed to turn in the test until you've answered all the questions. They say, Mr. Paz, what if I turn it in but I didn't check my work? They will give you so many reminders to check your work. Let's look at that. So does everybody see what I have up on screen?
Yeah.
You've reached the end of the test. Click OK. Now there's a new button that shows up here in the top left called End Test. Click on End Test. And it says you're about to end the test. Click Yes to continue to the next page, or click No to keep working. It will allow you to keep working if you want, but we're going to click Yes. And it's going to say, congratulations, you've reached the end of the test. You have marked questions. Hey, you flagged a few. Review these questions before submitting your test.
Okay.
So if I clicked on this one, which we're not going to do, if I clicked on it, it would take me back and I could think about that question more. But I'm going to click Submit Test. Are you sure? Yes, we're done. So notice, it will ask you many times whether you're ready to finish the test or not. So click end test. All right, it says your results. Well, guess what? It didn't take any score, so we don't have any results. We're going to take the ELA test. You ready? ELA.
What's that for?
The language arts one. Please click log out. We're going to start right from where we started earlier. Please click sign in. What grade are you in? I'm glad you remembered. Do not take the high school test if you take a very tough
The
test.
purple one or the pink one?
What color are we doing, folks? We're going to click on this purple one that says Start Grades 3 through 5 ELA Training Test. Then we click Select because we're not changing any settings. And then you should not hear this coming from your computer. You're only going to hear it coming from my computer. Everybody play that. Then click the green button that says I could play the video and sound. Then click Continue. Then click Begin Test.
Why do they have to listen to
Why do they have that? Here's why. When you take the real test, there will be some questions that you have to listen to some audio or watch a video that has sound. And they just want to make sure that you'll be able to hear it. Okay?
Language art is huge.
Alright, yeah. Start Grades 3 through 5 ELA Training Test. All right, folks. So what you see up on your screen, there's a lot of writing. When you take this test for real, it's up to you to read by yourself. But if you don't mind, if you guys don't mind, I love this story so much. Can I read it to you?
Yeah.
Follow along with me as I read it to you.
Wait, is the line reader, does it read it to you?
Yeah, good question. I'm going to show you some tools. Okay, hold on for 1 second, and I want you to click on that arrow right there.
The one.
Does everyone see this arrow that I'm pointing to up on screen?
I got the wrong test.
You did the wrong test? Oh, okay. Can everybody please click on that arrow and watch what happens? Okay. Third graders, can I have everyone's attention right now? Can I have everyone's attention? This is a great opportunity for us to all learn a very important lesson. Some people, you guys were so excited to get started that you clicked on the wrong things. When you take this test, you have to make sure to be clicking on the right tests.
Because you can't go back.
Because you can't go back once you get started. So we need to make sure that we're doing everything the right way. Recommendations to log in. The wrong test? Okay. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. So we're going to put right there. All right. Now, did you notice when you click that arrow, it spread your reading passage out?
What arrow?
Just log in.
What is this select?
Yep. I'm going to read this story to you. I like this. It spreads it out so I can see it. Then I will be able to, and I can always squeeze this down later. Treasure in the Field by Marilyn Balkunos. Once there was a man who lived with his 2 young sons on a farm in Vietnam. Since the old man had to tend the field, the boys took care of the house. That is, they were supposed to take care of the house. Often the father returned home to find that nothing had been done. He even had to cook dinner. "What have you been doing all day, Ta?" he would ask his older son. "Studying, father, and thinking," Ta would reply. "And what have you been doing, Hai, my young son?" the father would ask. "Watching the house for you," Hai would answer. A neighbor asked the old man, "Are your sons helping you?" "Oh, they would," the father answered, "but they are young." Some years later, the neighbor asked again, "Aren't your sons helping you in the field?" "Oh, they would," the father replied again, "but they are still young. I will let them enjoy life now. They will help me later on." As the years went by, it became clear even to their father that the boys were lazy. Though they sometimes tended the field with him, they always made excuses to go home early. Finally, the father grew too old to work, and he took to his bed. The sons were sad, for they not only depended on their father, but they also loved him. One day, the old man called Ta and Hai to his side and said weakly, "I have a secret to tell you, my sons. Bend close." Hai and Ta leaned over to hear the secret. "A while ago," the old man said, "we learned that there is treasure buried in the field. It's still there, but you must dig for it." The sons' eyes widened. "Treasure in the field?" Ta said. "Where?" asked Hai. "Dig for it, and you will find it," said their father. "But promise me that you will share it equally." The sons promised and hurried out to begin. Day after day they dug. Their neighbor was astonished to see how long and hard the young men worked. As for Ta and Hai, they felt stronger and better than ever before. At last, the entire field had been dug, but no treasure had been found. The brothers moped around with their heads down. Finally, an idea came to Ta. "The land is ready for planting," he said to his brother, "and our rice is almost gone. You take one half of the field, and I'll take the other. We'll tend it just as father did." The days passed, and the seedlings grew. In due time, the field gave an abundant harvest. There was rice to sell and rice to eat. When the sons took the rice to the marketplace, it brought a good price. Excited, Ta and Hai ran back to the house and approached their father's bedside. They dropped coins into the old man's hands. "Look, father," said Hai, "we have sold rice and brought you gold." "Yes," said Ta. "Just as you said, the treasure was in the field." The old man smiled. They had learned his secret. Oh, let's click on this little blue arrow in the top right corner. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I want to squish our reading over to the left side. Now, question 1 says, this question has 2 parts. First answer part A, then answer part B. Which statement about the boys is supported by the passage? What can we prove from the reading? A, the boys did not share the work equally. B, the boys did not know how to plant a field of rice. C, the young boys wished to surprise their father with a special dinner. D, the young boys preferred to sit in the house instead of working outside.
D.
Call it out. D. Good. That's the best answer. Now, B is, which sentence from the passage best supports your answer in part A? This is where we have to prove it. That's a good idea that you come up with. Now I need you to prove it from the text. A, the sons promised and hurried out to begin. B, as the years went by, it became clear even to their father that the boys were lazy. At last, the entire field had been dug, but no treasure had been found. D, the brothers moped around with their heads down. What's the right answer? B, the boys are lazy. Question number 2. What can the reader infer about the secret the father tells his sons? Include information from the passage in your answer. Whoa. What? Infer? What does that mean? What? Infer? Yes, ma'am, in the back?
An opinion based on facts.
What is the answer?
Based on facts.
To form an opinion based on fact. Where did you get such a thoughtful and precise definition of that word? Yes. Oh, tricky, clever kids. Do you see the word infer? Click on the word infer. And that's the glossary right there. If you weren't sure about what the word infer meant, there's your ticket right there. That's the helper. Now, to the word infer, basically this question is asking, what can we guess that the secret was? What was the secret that the father told? Yeah, Zoe. Zoe. Well, that's what he said. Did they actually find a buried treasure chest?
So I think the dad made them trick them into.
Well, so what is the treasure? What is the treasure?
What I meant by the secret was there was treasure in the field, but there wasn't buried treasure. Like when they find
what was the treasure?
They learned it was the gold coins that they stole the rice with, and they learned how to work together.
Ooh, you have 2 different great answers. You're saying that part of the secret was the rice was the treasure, right? Which they could sell for gold. but also the value of hard work. That's the real treasure. Because then, if they know how to work, they'll always be able to plant rice and always be able to... Oh, that's great. Here's what this says. Basically, it's saying, what can we guess that the secret is? Include information from the passage in your answer. Is one word good enough that I can type in there? If I type, what about one sentence? Do you think that's enough?
No.
I don't think so. I would think at least 3 or 4 sentences in here. We're not going to take the time today, but we do need to type something in this box. Please type the first letter of your first name, and then we're going to click next. That is something where we would have to type at least 3 or 4 sentences, if not more. Question number 3. A student is writing an opinion essay for his teacher about his favorite season. Read the draft paragraph from the essay and complete the task that follows. I'm not going to read it to you, but look at the task. It says, the beginning of the student's essay does not state his opinion. Write an opening paragraph that states the opinion and explains what the topic is about. Wait, what? What do I have to write? No. A paragraph, an opening paragraph. That includes what? His opinion and keep reading the instructions here. Thank you. It explains what the topic is about. In 3rd grade, how many sentences are in a good paragraph? Yes, sir?
3 to 4 or 3 to 5. No, 3 to 5.
Who said 8? Who said 8? 8. Is that 8 what you've learned? This is what I hear at all the other schools. They say 8 sentences in a solid 3rd grade paragraph. So, okay, well, do whatever your teacher tells you to do. But if it says write a paragraph, you need to show what a good 3rd grade paragraph looks like, okay? A full paragraph. Please just type the first initial of your first name, and then we're going to move on. Here's why. We're not allowed to move forward unless we have an answer, so we're just kind of tricking it, making it think we have an answer. Question number 4. Here's a revision question. Ellen is writing a story for her class about a day at the beach. She wants to revise her story to use more descriptive words. Read the draft and complete the task that follows. Here it is. It was Ellen's last day of summer vacation. She raced into the garage and announced, "Dad, we have to go to the beach today. It's our last chance this summer to go swimming and build sandcastles together." She's from California. Dad smiled happily, and together, Ellen and Dad drove 45 minutes to the beach. Once there, they set up their chairs near the water. Here's a boring sentence. Dad read and Ellen played. That's pretty boring. Ellen worked for about an hour on her sandcastle. Then she noticed that her dad had spent that entire time just reading a book. She felt annoyed. She tugged at Dad's book. She looked at him. Another boring sentence. Dad grinned and set his book aside. Together, the two raced into the warm, bubbly waves. They laughed with excitement. Here is our instruction for this question. It says, select 2 of the choices that have the best descriptive sentences to replace Dad read and Ellen played and she looked at him. Now, I will be honest with you. This is a tough one, so I want to show you another test-taking tip. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Keep your ears open. Have you ever been taking a paper test and you scratch out the answers that you know are wrong? Have you ever done that before?
Oh,
That's,
I know how to do that.
yeah. So I want to show you this. Please go up to your hamburger menu. Click on your hamburger menu, and I want you to click on the word strike through.
Oh, I love this.
This is cool because this allows us to put a line through the ones that we don't like. Did all of your answers turn kind of gray?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's read these sentences and think, would this be a good answer or not a good answer?
Excuse me?
Yes?
It just happened.
Okay, you just clicked onto a different tab. Please click on do you know how to click to different tabs? There you go.
Yeah.
Let's read this first answer. Dad enjoyed relaxing with his new book while Ellen built a sandcastle. She gave him a look that said, I want you to spend time with me. Would that be a good answer?
Yeah.
I agree, so we're not going to touch that one yet. What about this next one? Dad helped Ellen build a sandcastle.
No.
She gave him a look that said, I'm glad you like your book. What?
No.
No, so let's click on that one and it puts a line through it. Because that's not a good answer. What about, Dad read a book to Ellen and then they swam. She looked at the pictures in the book. Put a line through that one too. Next, Dad read for a while and then he built a sandcastle. She looked at the warm, bubbly waves. No. What about this next one? Dad had a wonderful time reading while Ellen worked on her giant sandcastle. She gave him a look that said, it's time to have some fun now.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. But here's the thing. That means I have 2 good answers right now, but I always read all of the answers to make sure that I've got the 2 best ones, okay? So I'm still going to read this last one. Dad decided that he did not like his book. She gave him a look that said, you are the best dad. Nope. Okay, so I've scratched out 4. I've got 2 left. I think those are my right answers. To turn off strike through, please click somewhere up here in your story. Please click somewhere up here. Everything turns black again. And now we click on Dad enjoyed relaxing and Dad had a wonderful time. Mina. Okay. All right, so we are done with question number 4. Please go to question number 5.
Click on 2 sentences that have mistakes in punctuation. What is that? Go. Must. No. You have to press it.
Oh, you click on All right, question number 5. Click on 2 sentences. This is an editing question. So we have to find the answers, or find the sentences that do not have correct punctuation. We're going to skip, I don't want to take too much time, but please click on, oh, he got me, I said to Tim. Please click on, yes, he laughed, he tricked you twice. And click on, I don't know, but it's amazing, the last sentence. I clicked on my 3 that I think have mistakes in punctuation. But wait. How many sentences am I supposed to click on? Mina, please look on your partner's screen. Thank you. 2. Oh no, I accidentally clicked on 3. And as I keep reading, I realize, you know what, that last sentence, the punctuation is correct in that one. I need to unhighlight it. What do I do? Just click on it again and you unhighlight it. Okay? So I think the 2 that I've chosen are the ones with mistakes in punctuation. Yeah. All right, let's click on next. We'll go to question number 6. Please do not press the play button. I will play it from my computer up here. This is an audio question. You're going to have to listen very carefully. Now, if you miss anything, as soon as you're done listening, you can always play it again. You have a question? All right, I'm going to press play. Everybody, please listen carefully.
In the following presentation, you will hear a speaker talk about pizza around the world. Listen to the presentation and then answer the questions that follow. It's lunchtime and your stomach is growling. The line through the cafeteria moves so slowly. But today it's worth the wait because today they're serving your favorite food. What is it? If you're like almost every other kid, it's pizza. Pizza is one of America's favorite foods. In fact, Americans eat 350 slices of it every second. One of the reasons we love pizza is that we can have it just the way we like it. The most popular topping for pizza is pepperoni, but depending on where you live, you might prefer something else. Are you on the coast of Maine? You might eat lobster on your pizza. Down south, try crayfish, oysters, or Cajun shrimp. In the mood for something a little different? How about a peanut butter and jelly pizza, or one with dandelions? Americans aren't the only ones who love pizza. If you visit Japan, you might try pizza with eel or squid. If you find yourself in India, you could go for pickled ginger, minced mutton, and tofu. But no matter what you put on it, almost everyone loves pizza. Now, what will you ask for on your next slice? Eggplant? Tuna? Mashed potatoes? Or will you stick with good old pepperoni?
All right. So if at any point I wanted to go back and listen to this again, I can kind of drag that. I can drag it right to the beginning and listen to all of it. Turn your speaker down, please. Question number 6 says, complete the chart to show which countries are known for which pizza toppings. Click in the boxes next to the countries that match the toppings. United States is India, ginger, and Japan. Now I need you to listen very carefully to question 7 because this is a tough one. Can you please turn that down? Thank you. Question 7. What is the most likely reason the author made the presentation? Is it A, to suggest another way of looking at pizza? B, to change what people think is good pizza? C, to show why pepperoni pizza is the best kind? Or D, to explain why pizza is different in other places? Ooh, a lot of people are saying D. Here's my thought, though. It says to explain why it's different. Did they say things like, well, they don't have the same ingredients, or in India, people don't eat a lot of pork or beef, which is why they have mutton? Does it say why it's different? So I would use my strike through and I would cross off D. Is it to show why pepperoni is the best? No, that's a pretty bad one. What about B, to change my mind, to change what people think is good pizza? Are they trying to persuade me to like macaroni and cheese pizza? Really, they're just telling me that there is a variety. So really A, although the wording is kind of strange, I think what A means is when we think of pizza, we think of, pepperoni and cheese and that's it. But it's saying, hey, look, around the world, people think of pizza differently than we do. A is the best answer. What happens when you click on question 7? Do you see this button at the top that says, please submit your test? So we're going to click end test. We're going to say, yes, I'm done. Somebody's having some fun. Yeah. And then we're going to click submit test. Are we sure? Yes. We're done. We're done for today.